the next episode of the Action Army AAC-C1, or Athena, the gas, CO2, and spring airsoft sniper. We're going to need our trusty steed, the Ace-Tec AC-5000 chronograph, because today we're taking a look at the next power system for the Action Army AAC-C1, the CO2, I guess, reservoirs, or you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't ring a bell on the original video. Obviously, right out of the box, this thing comes with a, there we go, gas reservoir for green gas or propane. And this one is completely fully loaded right now with green gas. This is what it comes with, and it's a little bit low power out of the box. Let me show you. Here I have a mag completely loaded with 0.3 gram BBs. We're going to load this right on inside. And we'll get the Ace-Tec chronograph out and set this guy, or make sure it's set for 0.3s. So right there. And we're good to go, 0.3s set up. And let's just take a look at the FPS for a handful of shots. Now mind you, it is pretty cold. It's like 46 degrees out today, but we're going to toss our first shot through the chronograph. And we're looking at 253, 257, 245, 245. That was a low one. Did I hit the inside? Yeah, I must hit the inside. And that's 248. So if we look, our average is somewhere around like the 250 range on that initial green gas shell that this thing comes with. And a lot of that has to do with the reservoir being so small and cool down. Obviously, green gas needs a cool down period so that it can build that pressure again. And with retained shots over and over and over again, that's going to suffer a little bit. It's not the biggest of deals. This might be better for indoor, but what if there might be a solution? Alongside that care package that Action Army sent me, they also were kind enough to send in these 4 CO2 shells. Now this one was inside of the box. I don't know if this one comes with it or not, but I'm going to assume this one is the lowest power. Along with that, they sent a green one, a yellow one, and a red one. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm colorblind. I think I got that correct. This is an M130 CO2 reservoir. This one is an M150 CO2 reservoir, and this one is an M170. So assumably so, they should match up to their correlating like M130, M150, and M170 springs, I would assume. And a lot of that, I would guess, just has to do with how much CO2 they let out or burst out every single time that you drop the piston forward. Let's unbox these and take a look. Like I said, I don't know if this one comes with it or not. It was inside of the box, so I'm pretty sure it does. And we're going to take a look at this one too. I would assume this one's going to be weaker than the M130. So pop these guys all out. Obviously you can get these aftermarket, which is super nice, and if you want to pick up a handful of them, you could keep these on your body. Yeah, I would honestly probably stick these in a little like shotgun shell holster, because they're about, I would assume, the same size, so those elastic ones would probably work just fine. This is the M150, and then this is the M170. Now, the cutouts in them, I don't think have anything to do with the power output at all. I think it's just like a design choice, because all of the power output is here. Now, if you take a look at it, you're going to need a very large Allen key. This is where your CO2 is going to go in, and this will hug the base of the CO2. I also heard something rattling around in there. I guess this is some sort of a spacer for your CO2 cartridges. And then can we get the top off and see what's going on in there? So I know this is like a pressurized system under spring, and every time it slams into the front of the nozzle, it releases a small puff of gas or CO2. It works the same as the gas reservoir does as well. There's your spring that holds it under tension. And then, yep, there's that little hole that the gas is going to spew out of, or the CO2 is going to spew out of. I wonder if it's as simple as that hole just being a little bit larger on the sizes up. That might be all it is. Yeah, then no, that's absolutely it. Look. You see that? That hole is just a little bit larger. Interesting. Okay. Now, I would assume that, and maybe I wouldn't do this unless I had some extra spares lying around. You might actually be able to increase the power of these, like at home, by just simply drilling an even like a slightly larger hole if you have like a bunch of the smaller ones and you want to gain a little bit of power for it. Now, being that this one is going to have the longest or largest hole, I would think that means that you'll get less shots out of it too, just because it's going to expel more gas per shot. Yeah, that's definitely got the largest hole. Look at that chonker. Holy. All right, let's get everything back together, and we'll start loading these guys up with some CO2. Now, something really interesting about these, and I don't know how I feel about it. I get it. I understand why they need to do it this way, and I would assume that has to do with just the size of the bolt and being able to get everything to fit the way that you need it to. But these do not take standard CO2 capsules. It doesn't mean that they are less readily available. I just got these on Amazon in bulk, and they cost about the same. But these are made for 8-gram CO2 cartridges, so they're a little bit smaller. The standard Airsoft CO2 cartridge is a 12-gram, so it's a little bit longer than this one. And I guess we'll just drop a CO2 cartridge inside each one. Hopefully everything air seals correctly. Make sure that little ring on the inside is flat. That should go right in there. And then just like any Airsoft CO2, that should tighten down just fine. Perfect. No gas leakage, which is nice to see. Hopefully these all are the same. Sometimes the O-rings, after sitting in the boxes for a long period of time, will dry out. So occasionally you'll have to replace those if you get something from CO2. CO2 just dries the crud out of O-rings. Careful, because it starts spitting gas out the outsides. All right, and we're in. Good to go. No leakage. My hand got a little cold there. You might want to wear gloves when doing this. This is why they call me Stupid Airsoft. Drop this one in. If I can get that to screw down in place. Interesting. Why are we having such a hard time? Maybe that little ring just wasn't flat. Yeah, I think the ring wasn't flat. Yeah, make sure that ring is flat. There we go. I still can't get this one in. Why? There it goes. Maybe just a ditz. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Tight. Should be good. And then the last one. Now be careful, don't over tighten these. You don't want to warp the aluminum that this is made out of. Well, that little rubber popped out. That goes at the base, right by your piercing nozzle. I wonder why that popped out. Didn't pop out on the other ones. I'm going to assume that will push itself in place as we start to screw in the CO2 capsule. Or it will just spit CO2 all over me. 50-50 chance. Let's screw that in before it gets tight. Perfect. We got a perfect air seal on all 4 of them. Our standard, our stock, I don't know what power this is, the M130, the M150, and the M170. Let's throw some shots down and see how much power we get out of them. I'm really excited to see how much power this red one's going to give us. I imagine it's going to be pretty substantial. Start off by just throwing the little black one in. The one that I think might come with the Athena. And again, the hop is set, so we shouldn't have any problems there. And we'll drop this one through the chronograph. Let's see what kind of power we're getting out of this one. I have no idea what it's going to give us. That's 195 FPS. Interesting. 196 FPS. So what I'm looking at right now is, weirdly enough, the joules, I believe, are a little bit larger. I think we're at 1.94 joules. So it's higher, like, impact, but lower flight speed. 201. 187. And 191. Go ahead, pop this one off. And we'll throw the M130 in. M130 in 3, 2, 1. 292 FPS. So we're already a ton hotter. And we're looking at, is that 4.28 joules? 241 at 4.1 joules. That almost doubled our joule output. Holy smokes. 291 FPS at 4.24 joules. 292 FPS at 4.25 joules. And 289 FPS at 4.13 joules. That's a lot hotter than I thought that was going to be. You know, props to Action Army, by the way. That looks absolutely awesome. Seeing that little reservoir, the colored reservoir on the inside of the Athena. And they're all magnetized like the original ones were. So that's really cool. And we'll throw our M150 in place. All right, M150, here we go. 360 at 6.4 joules. That's not legal. There's no way. That's... Oh my God. That's 373 FPS at 6.93 joules. Sorry, I changed the angle. I accidentally shot one into my pool. 361 at 6.47 joules. I think we got 2 more to make it 5. 380 FPS at 7.13 joules. And 378 FPS at 7.07 joules. I think on the inside, I like the way that the green one looked a little bit better. That's just like color preference, obviously. I'm excited to see the red one. So we'll pop this out. A little hard to do on camera. Weird angles for this one because it's very long. And we'll get the red guy in place. Fits nice and snug. And here we go, 5 shots with the M170. 426 FPS at 9 joules. 433 FPS at 9.27 joules. 435.4 FPS at 9.37 joules. 440 FPS at 9.64 joules. And 441.7 FPS at 9.67 joules. Just to point this out there, the red one looks absolutely nasty in there. It looks so cool. I think it goes red, then the green one, then the black. The black is just obviously, it just matches. You don't notice it's in there. And then this one is last for me. I don't know. I'm just colorblind, so this one kind of looks like mustard. But all in all, I mean, we're definitely getting more power out of these reservoirs, and they are increasing as expected. They're increasing quite hot. So I don't really know if we would be able to get away if they were testing the joule output of these. Some fields only test FPS by me, so you'll be fine. Because as for sniper classes, as long as you're under 500 FPS, you're good to go. But the joules it's hot. So I would imagine you're going to want to make sure that you're not, point blank firing at anybody. You're going to want to wait until they're at least a decent bit of way. Obviously, you have a sidearm, so that's not a big deal. But the CO2 canisters work. I think you will have better consistency out of these because CO2 will pressurize a little bit better with the canister, so you might not have as quick of a drop off of power as you would with the regular gas reservoir that comes with it. I think the CO2 obviously will also do better in the cooler weather, so you don't have to worry about cool down at all. The only thing that I worry about is CO2 is extremely cold, so I hope it doesn't freeze over your bucking as it like under sustained fire. Now with the sniper, chances are you won't be under like sustained fire, so maybe you'll put off like 3, 4, 5 shots, 6 shots, and then you have a decent break between like when you target somebody else, when you find someone else, when you're waiting for you to get into a better position. It's not like an AR or an LMG or an SMG where you're constantly under fire. So I wouldn't imagine that would be a huge issue. You might actually start to notice that the bucking will warm up quicker, and then you'll be able to play again. Maybe not so much in the cold, but when you get to like the warmer weather, I would assume that would be really, really easy, especially being that this whole body is black, so it's going to attract a lot of heat. But thank you, Action Army, for sending these out. These are super cool. I think it'll be really, really easy to pick up a handful of these. I'll probably pick up a bunch of probably the red ones, honestly. I'll probably pick up a bunch of the red ones, or maybe the yellow ones, just because these the power is a little bit lighter and it's not as scary. And I'll probably just grab like a shotgun sash or like a small little shotgun Velcro patch, and I'll throw it onto my gear, and you can just carry like 5, 6, 7 of these on your person at once. That's really cool. Awesome, awesome. Dang, I'm really, really excited for this platform. I'm having a blast with it so far. It's just so unique in its own respect, and I am really excited to continue on my travels on testing this and keep giving you guys some feedback. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next adventure. Peace.